Spatchcock Funk in the house, our house, and your house too. You know where the party's at? Wherever you're at. We're gonna teach you how to throw the best parties, the best dinners, the best get-togethers. All you need are the people that you love, and we'll take care of the rest. Spatchcock Funk, dope food, strong drinks, great stories. The Spatchcock Funk Squad is here to watch TV and show you how to cook some food while you're watching too. We are inspired by art, creativity, all of these things, movies, music, but TV is actually what drives us the most. And not just cooking shows, and we love those, but those long form series that you just binge watch. So today we're gonna do some binge eating, some binge drinking, and some binge watching. We're gonna go from New Mexico to New Jersey to Manhattan and all over the country. And this is binge eating. Binge watching TV together is a great way to get your brain chemistry right. It's great for your mental health, relaxing, taking a break from work, a break from things outside of the house. And actually a cocktail, a great cocktail, is chemistry too. So in honor of one of the greatest chemists in television history, Walter White and his homeboy Captain Cook, AKA Jesse Pinkman, we are gonna make a drink called the Blue Sky. And it's basically a really cool, hyped up slow gin fizz. It's a fantastic drink to sip on. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make a blueberry thyme simple syrup. It's sweet, it's got two beautiful flavors that bring out this awesome robustness of the gin. It makes the drink just really smooth and really cool. So, to be cool, we're gonna do some chemistry and make some simple syrup first. Simple syrup is simple to make, y'all, particularly flavored simple syrup. It's 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of water over medium heat, and we can add flavors in there. So the flavors we're adding here first is gonna be 1 pint of fresh blueberries and a good healthy squeeze of fresh lemon juice. So we're gonna heat all that up over medium heat until the sugar dissolves. Once the sugar is completely dissolved, we're gonna take it off of the heat. We're gonna add in a handful, a really healthy handful of thyme, about 20 sprigs. Put it right in there. We're gonna stuff it down and stir it a little bit. Then we're gonna cover it and let it steep for a half hour. Now, this drink is inspired by the great crystal meth that Walter White makes. So to replicate that, what we've made are Blue Sky ice cubes. And what we've done is take a blue sports drink. Like Jesse Pinkman likes to say, sports drink me. So we froze a bunch of those in ice cubes. And that's gonna be a really cool thing, because actually if you're drinking a few of these, it's gonna hydrate you as you're going along, which is always good while you're drinking. A little more of that chemistry, y'all. And also we're gonna put it into a stemless wine glass, because it's easy to chill on the couch, hold it close, put it on the table. So first, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put in a bunch of these cubes and get that really cool blue look going. Now, we're gonna put in 1.5 ounces, maybe more, depending on how frisky you're feeling and how aggressive the show is gonna be, of American gin. Now, that blueberry, lemon, thyme, simple syrup, we're gonna do some chemistry. We're gonna put about 1/2 ounce of that into our drink. This is gonna give you a really strong, cool flavor, kind of change the complexity of things, just like chemistry, right? Like chemistry, like our friends too, and on TV shows. It's always something that two different things combine that are different to make something really great together. Then we're gonna top it with some seltzer. We're gonna stir it, get it evenly mixed, because you wanna mix things up the way that Walter and Jesse did, both in the lab, in the camper, and among their friends. We're gonna top it, garnish it with some blueberries and a couple sprigs of thyme, because it just looks cool. And like Walter White, we're always running out of time. So, from Albuquerque, New Mexico, from our kitchen to yours, to your couch, the Blue Sky. Let's go down. curled up on the couch watching something, nothing is better than a bowl of some really good soup. Not even soup, chowder? Not even chowder, bisque. From a show about nothing, we're about to make something. This is corn and crab bisque. And from the great show Seinfeld, one of the really great storylines has the soup Nazi. And people get in fights over this stuff, it's so good. So this is actually a recipe, it's a combination of the soup Nazi himself's recipe, my mom's, and Deanna from the New Orleans School of Cooking, all combined the way that we want to make this thing. So we make every little part of this thing special because Seinfeld has all these little nuances that you love. Like in every episode, there's a Superman. Maybe it's a magnet on Jerry's fridge or you see it somewhere in the background. So every little bite of this soup has to be fantastic. One of our accoutrements for it is going to be a cornbread crouton. Get some cornbread. You can buy it at the store, you can make it yourself. It can be old, that's cool. If it's a little bit old, a couple days old is great. First though, in a mixing bowl, we're gonna add in maybe a teaspoon or so of some extra virgin olive oil. Then we're gonna add in about a tablespoon or so of granulated garlic. We're gonna add in about a teaspoon each of fresh black pepper and some salt. We're gonna stir that up. The thing is with making croutons like this is they can tend to be crumbly as you make them, so you want to be gentle with it. And you know what? You can keep adding in olive oil if you want to get more of a mix on it, so that's what we're going to do here. So we've got our olive oil mixture here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to gently, very gently, right? Like Elaine, you got to treat her gently or she's going to get mad at you. We're going to put in the cut up cornbread into the 1.5 inch cubes. And we're gonna lightly toss it so it gets coated in this olive oil. Then on a greased cookie sheet, we're gonna gently layer it out. You're gonna get your oven to 350. So keep adding the oil, the salt, pepper, the garlic, as you keep removing the cornbread and adding more to it so you get it all coated. Now, in the oven, again, 350 for 10 minutes, then flip them. Hello, Newman. The crab bisque creates quite the episode in a number of bingeable episodes. So, what we're gonna start with actually is a dry frying pan. We're gonna add in 1 cup of corn. We sliced them off the cob, but you can also use frozen corn. And this corn actually is from a farm right near my house. We're gonna put over medium heat. And we're gonna keep shaking it and giving it stirs until it starts to brown up a little bit and then set it aside. We're getting some golden brown in there, the bright yellows you want, so these are pretty good. Ready to go, we're just gonna move them off the heat and let the corn sit for a little bit. So the thing is, when you're making a great seafood soup like this, it does not have to be super expensive. I mean, let's face it, George didn't have any money and that dude lived a pretty cool life. So first we're gonna make the base of the soup itself, the bisque itself. So we're gonna add in 4 cups of seafood stock. So to make seafood stock, you can just take clam shells, lobster shells, crab shells, whatever, boil them in water for a while, or you can buy it at the store too. Ain't no shame in that. We're gonna add in a teaspoon or so of hot sauce. This is not gonna make the soup hot or spicy. It's gonna bring out all the sweetness of the crab and the corn and really add to the fatty flavor of it. We're gonna add in a teaspoon of Creole seasoning, give it some salty punch. About a half teaspoon of some granulated garlic too. And we're gonna add in half of our corn, so about a half cup of corn. And if you're using fresh corn on the cob, about 2 ears, if you cut them off, about 2 ears will be the amount we need. So we're gonna put that in there now. We're gonna stir that over a medium heat. Just get that nice and simmering. A bisque is not a chowder. People will say they're interchangeable, they are not. What makes a bisque different than a chowder is a roux. A roux is a combination of some type of flour and some type of fat that creates this thickening, velvety flavor. It makes a bisque memorable, and as you recall, Elaine had a memorable bisque, more memorable than the rest of her date. So we're gonna show you how to make a roux right now, and we're gonna take in a 1/4 cup of butter. We're gonna heat that up, again over medium heat. Get that melty a little bit. And we are going to make a blonde roux. There's a couple types of roux. A chocolate roux means it's been cooked a long time, it gets nuttier and it's darker, like a chocolate in color. So we're gonna actually get that blonde roux going, and then we're gonna add it up into here. So once the butter starts melting a little bit, we're gonna add in equal parts fat, equal parts flour. So we have a 1/4 cup of flour and a 1/4 cup of butter over medium. And we're gonna keep stirring it until all the butter's melted and it becomes a blondish color. We've got our roux, and our soup stock has been simmering for about 10 minutes after we brought it to a boil. So first we're gonna add in the roux. We're gonna stir that in nice and gently. Give us more of this velvety flavor. It's gonna stir around, mix evenly. You're gonna see it get cloudier, which is what we want. Yeah, that's the roux. Then we're gonna add in the rest of our corn. And for us, anything we're making, any soup, chowder, bisque, we want more of the protein than the starch. So the corn, we're gonna make sure we're putting more protein in that. So like any bisque, any chowder, we're gonna add in 2 cups of heavy cream. We're gonna stir that in. That gives us a really nice texture and smoothness to it. Now, you don't need to buy crab meat or lobster meat. If you can't get access to it, or you just frankly can't afford it, use imitation crab meat. You'll still get a great flavor. And you know what? Great taste, great food, great recipes are for everybody, no matter how much money you got. But since we got a little production budget here, we're putting in quite a bit of money here. So what we've got is a pound of claw meat. And the claw meat is super sweet, super nice. So we're gonna add that in. And because we just love crab so much, we're also gonna add in 1 can of lump crab meat because it's much more fine and smaller, so that'll spread more evenly throughout the soup. You wanna keep stirring it, and you don't wanna let it boil. So let it simmer, but keep stirring it and do not let it boil. We don't wanna break up this cream. When we're finished up, sometimes I can put a couple turns of a cracked black pepper in there. It's got salt from the Creole seasoning. You can add more of that if you want. We're gonna give it a stir with our ladle. And like I said, we want to taste as we go. So I'm gonna scoop myself a little bowl of this beauty. Next, we're gonna top it. We're putting our homemade cornbread croutons, hit it with some sliced green onion, and a little bit of parsley for some more color. Then, just like Elaine, have some memorable bisque. This is so good, it's got me thinking, no soup for you. Now. So this place, incredible selection and way more sanitary than Satchell's Pork Store in The Sopranos.
Never seen The Sopranos.
What?
How are you guys?
You know, we're all right, man. We're all right. We're excited to be here.
I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, so we're gonna make some Gabagool sandwiches in honor of The Sopranos. So we're gonna get some capicola. Tell us about your capicola here.
You're looking for hot, mild?
Mild. A little mild.
Mild?
Okay, mild.
So basically it's pork shoulder, and they put some seasoning, a little bit of black pepper, put it into a casing, and then cook it. And it's delicious.
Awesome. The peppery one, let's do a ½ pound.
½ pound? You got it.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, how you doing? We coming in here from Satchell's Pork Store in Newark, New Jersey. This represents one of our favorite shows to binge watch, The Great Sopranos, particularly Tony Soprano, and one of his favorite sandwiches. But you know, it's funny, we talked about Walter White, we've got other shows that we love to watch, like Mad Men with Don Draper, all the characters on Seinfeld. You know, binge watching TV is a great chance to get mentally well and kind of work on your mental health, be home, get away from the world. But the characters we love so much are super flawed. So if you think you've had a bad day or you're not a great person, imagine Tony Soprano, psychopath. Walter White, not cool. Dirtbags on the Seinfeld show, not great. Don Draper, not mentally well. So you're mentally healthier than you think. Just make sure you take an eye on that, keep an eye on that, and work hard for it. Now, Tony, to take some stress off of himself, besides seeing a therapist, which everybody should do, so good for Tony on that, he actually loves to eat the Gabagool sandwich. Now, the Gabagool sandwich actually is a capicola pepper sandwich, and we're gonna make it today. But people don't realize why it's called Gabagool. And the reason why is when Italian immigrants at the time were coming over, the hard G sound, like go, was interchangeable at times with the hard C sound in English, like car. So capicola became gabagool, and it kind of hung around with that. And we love that. We like hearing in an Italian restaurant someone say mozzarella, right? But we love accents. We think they're fun and exciting. But if you make fun of accents, this ain't the show for you. Now, what we're gonna also do is we're gonna make the peppers ourselves. You can do this in the grill, which we like to do sometimes. But the peppers, depending on if you're going spicy or sweet, we're going really sweet here, but you can do the exact same thing spicy. But we've got some sweet red Italian peppers, some sweet red bell peppers, some sweet green bell peppers. What we're gonna do is we're gonna really grill them so we get a nice little flavor on it, basically make them roasted. So cut a pepper in half like I've got here, take a good sharp knife, and first, take your hand and press it flat, right? Then on one side, take your sharp knife, score it a little bit. On the other side, you're gonna score it a little bit too. This will help it cut flat. You're gonna take a little bit of a combination of some good extra virgin olive oil and garlic powder and just get each side a little bit greasy and then throw it over the heat. Now, you can go outside and grill, but what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna do it right on the stovetop. Might get messy, but what are you gonna do? Sometimes when you're a gangster, things get messy. Now we're gonna make a little bit of a garlic mayo. So we've got a half cup of mayonnaise. We're gonna put half a tablespoon of granulated garlic and then a couple teaspoons of dried parsley to give it some cool color, and just mix that up. And this is gonna add a nice little flavor and a little creaminess with that garlic punch. With all the saltiness of the meat, and we've got this provolone cheese, which has this nice creaminess to it, we're gonna use Portuguese sweet rolls, you know? Picture Asian island, American Asian island, where there's a royalty on it. You'll get my drift on these rolls, but they're called Portuguese sweet rolls. So we're gonna take our sweet capicola, AKA the Gabagool from Tony's Gabagool sandwich, and we're gonna make a big layer. For these four things, we've got at least 3 slices of this beautiful meat on each one. We've got 4 good slices of provolone we're gonna put on here. Cover that up really nice. Those beautiful peppers. We've got the sweet Italian peppers. We've got green and red bell peppers. We're just gonna do a nice little layer across the board on these guys. Plus, we like the Italian flag here. I'm sure all the people back at Satriali's and in New Jersey are gonna respect that. On the top of our Portuguese sweet rolls, we're gonna take a good dollop of that garlic mayonnaise with the parsley. Before we drop it on there, you might hit it with a little bit of cracked black pepper. If you wanna go salt, you can, but we're not going to. So we're gonna layer it right on top. And now, with a good knife, and trust me, the Sopranos and the DeMeo crime family, they know good knives. You're just gonna come right down the line. You're gonna end up with 4 perfectly cut sliders. We're about ready to binge and do some relaxing. And I'm gonna take a bite of this sandwich and see how we did. Bada bing, bang, boom, gabagool. From Madison Avenue to your living room, we are making a really awesome binge eatable, binge washable snack inspired by one of our favorite characters of all time, the legendary Don Draper. So both Alex and I come from the advertising background, so that show kind of has a special place in our heart. And like all these other shows, Don Draper probably is not the most mentally healthy person. So again, getting together with your friends is a great way to kind of bring yourself back, and that's important. So what he was able to do in that show was take a famous potato chip brand and bring it back until one of the on-screen people, not this one, was very mean to the owner of the brand. So we're gonna make that brand feel sweet, and this is a sweet treat. So we are making chocolate-covered, peanut butter-covered potato chips. We're gonna call them Madison Avenue chips in honor of the great Don Draper, Sterling Cooper Advertising, and Edith Schilling, another great character in the show, who's important for the chips. So let's make these chips important. First, you wanna get a big bag of ruffled potato chips. It's gotta be ruffled because it's sturdier to hold all the chocolate, peanut buttery goodness we're gonna make on these things. Shake out your bag and find the biggest, bestest, sturdiest things you can find. Take those chips, you're gonna set them aside. Get 2 big bags of either dark chocolate or milk chocolate, whatever you like better, and then 1 bag, 23-ounce bag of peanut butter morsels. So you're gonna take those bags and bake them into smaller microwavable bowls. We're gonna take our peanut butter chips first, and we're gonna take a paper towel, drape it around it, and microwave it at 30-second intervals until it starts to get melty and gooey, just how you want it. Our peanut butter is getting melty, but you can see now it's starting to feel like the peanut butter you'd see in a jar. So we're gonna add in 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil and microwave it one more time. This will give us the good consistency we need. Our peanut butter is melted, so we're gonna move our chips. We're gonna put in a little tray with some parchment paper. Using tweezers, we're gonna take one of these chips and submerge it fully into the peanut butter. Then we're gonna take it out. I know you wanna eat it right now, but don't. Set it on the parchment paper. We're gonna cover our tray with that and then put it in the freezer for 10 minutes. While the peanut butter soaked chips are chilling like Don Draper in a penthouse, we're gonna heat up our chocolate chips. Same thing, 30-second intervals. If we need to, if it's not runny enough, we're gonna add in some vegetable oil. Got our melted chocolate, we got our chips. And if you look at them, they are perfect the way they should be. What we like to do is dip half of the chip in the chocolate, so half of the peanut butter is exposed. So we're just gonna dip it, rest it back onto our tray, and put it back in the freezer for another 10 minutes. This is binge eating, and this is something you can binge eat forever. It's luxurious, smooth, kind of like Don Draper, his style. And a little sweet too, because he's got that. Madison Avenue, eat your heart out. So if you're gonna be in one of these shows like Mad Men, Sopranos, just kind of dicey, Breaking Bad, right? Who's one person that you wanna hang out with but you know it's gonna end badly? Like, are we talking like Walter White, Tony Soprano, Don Draper? Like, who are you running with? Even though you know it's not gonna end well.
Jesse, Breaking Bad.
Jesse Pinkman?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I don't know. It started bad with him. Didn't even
Yeah,
just
but
end bad.
he'd be
It
fun to
always
hang out with.
was bad luck for him.
Every time he was
You
on
knew I had a
April,
good time. Yeah.
April's
Sure.
like,
you just
I
didn't
think I
have-
could be
have
friends
to
with him.
stop having a good
I
time.
think I'd be friends with him. Why? Because he makes meth. Like, every time he was on, she loves him.
He throws killer parties that last days.
Yeah, days on end.
Days.
Yeah.
Also, I rethought the answer to my other question.
Which was what question is
What
this?
I would lay and watch besides.
The question wasn't what you would
Food?
lay and watch.
No, he said if you're hungover and you're laying on the couch. 'Cause that's what I did.
Yeah, that wasn't the question.
It would be all those gold mining shows on the Discovery Channel.
Yes.
Yes, all the gold rush, all the
Alaska
crab
Gold
fishing,
Rush, or yes.
and the Curse of Oak Island.
Do you watch The Deadliest Catch or no?
Love it.
I love
Oh,
The
I
Deadliest
love
Catch. It's
that.
my
Love.
favorite show. Amanda makes
Yeah.
fun of me all the time. She's like,
The
oh, let me
old-
guess.
or what about
they
the
don't think
tuna
they're on the
fishermen?
crab, and all of a sudden, wow, they call
Yeah,
the crab
they
they
caught
eat
it.
it.
Spoiler alert.
But
Or
it's
the
really
tuna
insane
fishing.
to think about that world. You're like, oh, there's like death defying.
Most dangerous
Literally.
job in the world. I mean, they're
Yeah.
600-700 miles away from land.
I mean, Matt and I
And
went on a
it's
fishing
dark.
charter recently, and we experienced something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we were
It
coming
looks
close to death.
just
Like,
like
we're
the
caught-
Guys, like
deadliest
500
Yeah.
feet off the shore of Lake Ontario.
Yeah, we were.
It was a
we were
mile.
rough.
One fishing.
It was about a mile.
We had to pee in a bucket.
Oh,
We had to
my
pee in a
Lord.
bucket and throw it overboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all, I am so glad we're together right now. Alex and I made this food. We're so excited to just watch shows together, be creative together, just enjoy each other's company. You know what I'm saying?
It's back on.
From Sterling Cooper Advertising, the Costanza family, Beneke Fabricators, the Bada Bing, and all of us at Spatchcock Funk. Enjoy your food, enjoy your shows, enjoy your friends. Eat the fishes. Don't sleep with them. I'm out.
Perfect.